And welcome back. Again, you have to forgive the noise. The inverter is running. We've got the house running on solar at this point. Having a good, nice sunny day today. If you remember when we put our Fortune 100 cells in, we were talking about internal resistances. And the fact that the Fortune cells have a larger internal resistance than our Eve cells. So what we should see, since we're charging at this point, just to show you here, I've got an extra shunt hooked up, Victron energy shunt. We're charging about 64 amps coming into the battery bank. Let me show that to you again. So what we should see, if our theory is correct, we should see a larger portion of that 65 amps going into our Eve cells than our Fortune cells. So, got our amp clamp here. Gonna go ahead and zero it out. This is our first bank of Eve cells. You can see we're putting about 24 amps into that string. Let's get on our second string here. About 22 amps into that string of Eve cells. And now for our Fortune cells. You can see there's only about 9 amps, 9.1 amps going into that string of Fortune cells. And this string of Fortune cells about 9.2 amps. So you can see we're getting, 9-ish amps to each one of our Fortune cells. And the bulk of our charging current right now, just to show that to you again, that's one Eve string at 23 amps. That's the other Eve string at about 22 amps. So for our charging current, we're seeing exactly what we expected. The bulk of our charging current is going into our 2 banks of Eve cells, and the remainder is coming down here and making it into our Fortune cells. Now, again, a large part of that is going to be just the differences of the internal resistance, again, between the Fortune cells and the Eve cells. So, and the nice thing is, as you saw from the readouts, it's a pretty even distribution. 9.1 to 2 amps on this string, 9.1 to 2 amps on that Fortune string. So since we're in the state of charge at this point, we're going to continue to go ahead and let things charge up. And I'm going to start getting this room cleaned up from when we were, because it's currently still a disaster from when we had all our tools out putting our Fortune cells in line. Once we get into a state of discharge, I'll bring you back and we'll shoot some quick video on that one to show you what the discharge load looks like. And again, we should see a very similar arrangement where on our discharge, the bulk should come from our Eve banks and the remainder should come from our Fortune cells. But I'll bring you back when we're in that state. Talk to you in a bit. Bye. And welcome back. At this point in time, we're no longer charging. We're actually in a discharge state of our pack. So just like we did on the charging state, here's our Victron monitor, as you saw before. Hopefully you can see that okay. So we're pulling 57 amps out of the batteries. So let's take a look and see what our load distribution on that looks like. Same amp clamp as before. Let's zero it out. There we go. Pulling 19 amps out of that Eve set. 18.6 out of that Eve bank. And hopefully you can see that okay. Let me get some light down here. There we go. It's about 8.9 amps out of that Fortune bank. And let's get us clamp switched over to the last bank. As you can see there, about 9.3 coming out of that Fortune bank. So, and again, that was pulling about 56 amps out of the batteries currently, because the way we have our charge parameters set up in our charge controllers, it won't start to kick back in and pull in our additional solar power to attempt to recharge again until the battery bank as a whole has dipped down to our predetermined level. Since that hasn't happened and we've reached our charge point for the day, it's going to pull everything it needs out of the batteries until we hit that what they call a rebulk phase. Once we hit the rebulk phase, and the charge controllers you see on the wall there will kick in and start to charge the bank. But I just wanted to put this quick video together to show you that it is behaving as we expected, with the EVEs having a lower internal resistance per cell and per pack overall versus our Fortune cells. We are seeing on charge the bulk of the charge going into the EVE cells, what's left over into the Fortune, and vice versa. On our discharge, you can see our EVE cells are carrying the bulk of the load, and then followed by our Fortune cells below. So things are working as we expected and as we theorized, and also as Andy down in Australia with the off-grid garage has also demonstrated with the testing that he has done when you're mixing different capacity banks together. So with that being said, I'll let you go. We'll cut this one a bit short, and I'll bring you back for the next one. Thank you much.